Okay, Israel, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Enav, and welcome everyone. Just to set the scene, a year and a half ago, we shared our bold vision for reimagining the library user experience. Sima, if you can move to the next slide, with the 4 core pillars that we announced. The Primo Research Assistant, linked open data, practical for end users, new UI for Primo page, and user engagement analytics to really understand what's happening and what our users are using. Since we've announced this, we've been listening, we've been learning, evolving, also developing. And today we're excited to take you a bit of behind the scenes of how this vision has matured, show you the concrete ways we're enhancing how our community interacts with the library resources. And over the next hour, we'll explore where each of these is and how you can either use them or learn more about them. And with that, I'll hand over to Sima.
Thank you, Israel. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to start with the first focus area, which is the Primo Research Assistant. You've all heard the exciting news in September during the Igloo conference and right after in the listserv when we announced the Research Assistant is now live. The Research Assistant, is an AI-based tool that comes to provide your users with an easy starting point for their research. We're leveraging from the AI capabilities, but we are running these capabilities on our trusted data on the CDI, on Central Discovery Index. And with that, I'll do a quick demo to show you where exactly we meet the Research Assistant in Primo VE. Once activated, and the activation is extremely easy, we have 2 places where the Research Assistant can be visible, either one of them or both. Here in the menu link, we can see the Research Assistant. Another one over here is the widget, when I can start typing a question in natural language. Either typing the question over here in the widget or selecting the menu link will take me to the Research Assistant's search screen. But before, I will be prompted with the login screen. I will be asked to log in. The Research Assistant is inclusive in the product in Primo VE, and we would like to be able to control the costs. That's why we are exposing it only to logged in users. The following screen is kind of similar to other AI tools that you are familiar with. Let's say that I'm running a research and I would like to know how has artificial intelligence influenced modern art and also add and creative expression. So the first great thing here is the natural language capability. I wrote my question in a semantic search in a natural language, and once I click on the submit, 2 queries are being sent to the large language model. We use GPT-4o Mini. The first one takes the natural language question and transform it, convert it into Boolean search that we can use in the search engine. We're applying this search on the CDI, Central Discovery Index. We are running some re-ranking and other fine-tunes in order to find the 5 top sources that fit the best the question that the user have asked. And then I'm getting what you can see on the screen. And the second query to the large language model is sending these 5 top-ranked sources and getting what you can see over here on the screen. The first section is the overview. It's not very comprehensive, but not short as well. We tried to answer the user question, but not to write the paper on behalf of the student. And with that, we concluded this answer, where you can find also inline references to reflect transparency. Clicking on one of those inline references will take me to the sources, where I can find an abstract as appear in our index in the CDI, not by any hallucinations of the large language model, together with full text capabilities. More important is the more details and request options, because the Research Assistant is a starting point. We're encouraging the user to go beyond the research assistant and explore more in Primo, in the tools that are already part of Primo. Once I click on the more details, I'll get to the full record page of this source, and I will be able to continue my exploration. I will be able to see additional view online options or submit a request on this resource, etc. Also under the sources section is the view more results to take me to the full results page of Primo. And this is the teaser. We got a lot of great feedback about the Boolean query that is converted and being displayed to the user using the view more results. And that's why we are currently running a proof of concept, but we do plan to add it sometime in the near future to add natural language search also in Primo. So with that, you can see the full results page based on the Boolean query that was converted behind the scenes. It was created behind the scenes. The last section is the related research question, where you can find additional sophisticated questions that can assist the user to refine or to redefine their investigation. There is also the history and few more actions that users can find very useful. The copy and try again, the in-app feedback is being used for us. We are more than happy to get the user's feedback in order to fine-tune the research assistant. Now let's get back to the presentation. The last thing that I wanted to show you is the local languages support. I'm going to paste over here the same question that I asked, but in German, something that the AI translated for me. I apologize, I don't know German. And you will be able to see that the answer is also in German. The sources are a mixture between English, sources in English and in German. And you can see over here related research questions, suggestions also in German. We saw the different sections of the research assistant. And since the launch, we got a lot of feedback from you, both very positive feedback and constructive feedback. We added some fixes, fine-tunes, and small enhancements already since September. And looking forward, we plan to enhance it even more. In the first quarter of the year, we have 2 enhancements over here. The filtered search is a great enhancement of adding option to segment another segmentation of the question, meaning until now it was not possible to search, for example, by specific resource type or date. And in the first quarter of the year, we're going to add this enhancement to support books, articles, peer-reviewed, and dates. Addition of how to cite indication to allow you to guide the users how to cite the resources. And if we're talking about the second quarter and beyond, the roadmap was not finalized yet, but this is our thoughts about we are brainstorming it currently, and we see what can be added from these things. The first item will be for sure included in the NDE UI. Neely will talk about it in a few minutes. The research assistant is going to be included. Document Insights is powered by the ProQuest Research Assistant. For customers that subscribed to ProQuest collections will be able to get insights of the articles generated by ProQuest Research Assistant. Natural language in Primo VE, that's what I mentioned in relates to the natural language, the view more results that we have in the Research Assistant. We are aiming to add natural language in Primo VE. And we have ongoing prompt adjustments to fine-tune the answers and the sources. And we are doing ongoing large language model upgrades to stick to the latest version. As we did in November, we upgraded to GPT-4o Mini. The next focus area is the link open data. As part of the belief that all data is linked to each other, in May, we released the first stage of the link open data in Primo VE, the person. The person entity adds another layer of the people behind the books. We are putting kind of a spotlight on the persona behind the books, behind the bibliographic records. In the example that I'll show you in a minute, I took Virginia Woolf as an example, the English writer that you all know, and we'll see how some of her connections are enriching the search experience. The link open data, it's important to mention that this is regardless of the record format, either MARC, Unimarc, etc. This is based on the cataloging that you did in ALMA. This is relevant for local records at this stage. The link open data, the person entity is visible in two main places in the user journey in Primo VE. The first one is the autocomplete. When below the standard autocomplete suggestions of records, you will be getting person's suggestions. And the info cards. The info cards are related persons in the full record page. The creator, contributor, and subject, the persons that are mentioned as authority of type creator, contributor, and subject of this particular record. Clicking of either the autocomplete suggestion or the info cards will take you to the person page where you will be getting information about this person. The information is being taken from Library of Congress and from Wikidata. And now let's see a quick demo. I'm going to type Woolf over here, and I will be getting two suggestions. One is for Virginia Woolf, and the second for Leonard, her husband. Obviously, if I'll go to one of them, I will see the other because they are connected. We'll go to Virginia, and over here we can see the description about Virginia. The general information about her is being taken from Wikidata, and the rest of the information is taken from both Library of Congress and Wikidata. We see free carousels, those connections between bibliographic records and persons, and between persons to persons are being explicitly shown over here. We see the titles written by Virginia. We'll see some famous novels like Mrs. Dalloway over here, and Orlando, a biography. We'll see titles that are written about Virginia, and there are many. And we'll see the persons such as Leonard that are linked, that are associated with Virginia. If I'll click on one of the records, I will be able to see the related persons over here, what we call the info cards. The order of their info cards will be according to the creator first, then contributor, and then subject. And we're getting back to the presentation. So we are currently, that's what we saw in the person page. We have first the person information, then the different relationships. Looking forward, in the area of the link open data, since the release in May, we got a lot of feedback from the community, a lot of questions and inquiries. Based on all this feedback, we built the roadmap for the upcoming year. In the first quarter of the year, one of the two enhancements over here is really exciting, support vocabularies beyond Library of Congress. As I mentioned, we currently support local records that are linked to Library of Congress authorities. Starting from February, we are going to support additional authority types such as NDE and BNF and other authority types that are included in VIAF and also in the community zone. The second quarter and beyond is depend on our final estimations and the proof of concepts that we are currently running, but the potential plan is the following: link open data in NDE UI. This is going to be included for sure during this year. Expansion to support additional languages. Currently, we are taking Library of Congress and Wikidata information in English only. We would like to create person pages also in additional languages. That's one of the most popular requirements in this area from the community. And another very popular requirement was the CDI integration. Currently, we are supporting local records, only the records that are coming from ALMA. For the end users who obviously would like to see all the records connected to the link open data. We added the layer of the persons, which makes the search much more interesting and complete, but we are thinking also adding perhaps additional layers such as location and organization and more. And the last one is relevant for a Specto. This is the new product that was introduced during the Igloo and Iluna conferences for customers that will purchase Specto. Specto extracts entities like people from text and image files, and with this linkage between the resources, the digital resources, and persons, we'll be able to get richer richer connections and enrich the linked data and the person connectivity in Primo VE. And now, Neely, to you for more focused areas of the NDE.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you for this. And just a second, I will share my screen. Okay. Okay, so I will discuss. So I will present now more information for you about the NDE, the NDE UI, the new UX, or new Primo pages that now we are building a new UX for them. It will include motivation, live demo, and more information about the rollout plan. So let's start a bit the motivation for all of this. Of course, your user is always expecting a modern interface that is adapting the changes as technology is changing. And with all of the experience working with you and with all of the experience on top of the existing UI, gathering all of the ideas and NERS, what we are doing with this NDE UI now is to more simplified even the end user workflows and processes. We are designing the NDE UI for convenience. We are going to enrich it with more smart recommendation, AI services, and of course, exploration. And of course, we are going to expand the Patron services. You will see an example for enhanced user area and even more. And so this is about thinking on user expectation. But we also have your expectation as our customers. With the NDE UI, we will continue to provide you with a customized library discovery interface. We are going to have a new customization framework with even more capabilities as it's doing today. But we also thinking of providing more configuration options. So we are thinking of, from the experience looking at your site, seeing what things you did in customization. We also embed while designing new things as configuration option to make it easy for you with the NDE, with the move to the NDE UI. And of course, there are much more to add. Of course, the NDE UI is also responsive to technology change and upgrade. We will work on top of Angular 18 and notice today on top of the Angular JS. And you are also expecting us to meet the standard. And while we are designing new UX, we are also thinking accessibility. We are checking each component that we're using to see what are the hotkeys that we're using. We are also sending prototypes to external company, and we are giving accessibility best practice and annotation that we should and attempt to implement while developing. So this is an overview of the NDE UI motivation, and now I think we'll go into a live demo of that, and then we'll try to briefly also while demo and after that in the slides to highlight what are the changes. I will switch to a UI where I already, the sign in is timeout, so let me just sign in, it will help me. Okay, so what you see here is the landing page. This is the landing page when your user are entering without a search term. This is how it should look like. You can see at the top the main menu and the user area, and based on the experience and seeing your customization for sites with multiple languages, we extract it to be here. The user area, of course, we will provide configuration, so you will be able to order the option here. What you see here is the landing page, which include the search bar, and down there below, there a structure that will build also seeing your sites. So you can see here a quick link that you will be able to custom, and also an invitation to go ahead and check your library card. So it's also acknowledge the user that there will be a user area to check, option for you to add library resources and more information. And we will also try to give configuration to easily embed the showcase over there here. Now in my demo, I just want to mention the background image here will be customized, the label, and down there below, all of this will be a customized HTML. Same as you have today, your customized HTML, which is your landing page. I will go to my library because I want to check status of my request, and here is another new thing that we are offering with the NDE UI, which is enhanced user area. By meaning enhanced user area, you can see here that we are in the overview, and here in this menu, we are including in the user area both library card activities and also recent activity in terms of the search. You will be able to see loan request and order that in configuration, but you also will be able to see your favorites, the save records, search history, and save searches, and additional section for the setting. Now I would like to go ahead and check my request. I can click from here or from here to go into the request. You are looking at a system in a demo, so you won't see at the moment those records linked to a record in the full display, but we are working to have this ready. So you can see here the request and the option and option to expand, and I can also choose to cancel the request and see above. So I'm getting this feedback here, and now I would like to perform my search. As you can see, the search bar exists on top of every page, in the NDE UI. So I can now go ahead and from here attempt to search building leadership. Okay, so I'm performing a search. I just want to mention something that the scope are now moved to the left side, more as a category, as you can see here, and you can see the resource type on the top. And one of the changes, we will put the top facet, the facet at the top closed by default, and also option to have all of the top availability facet. As you can see here, you can configure which one to include here. What you can see here is the banner. This is the one suggestion to the banner, same as today. On top of the search results, we will offer also configuration to have the banner vertical and appear in this site. So you additional configuration and option for you to display banner on the right side over here. So I will close the banner, and I would like to share with you more about the filters. So as I mentioned, the filters are now at the top, closed by default. I would like now to select my filter. I'm going into the subject one. I will select leadership and humans, apply the filters. If I choose to have them open, it will be open. I can also choose to close it. What I see here now that before I close it, just again, I can see that we are also adding here within the area of the subject a summary of your selections. You can see it here. I will close the subject. Even if you choose to close it, your selection is also available and should be very clear here. Okay, so you can see that I've been hinted that I selected 2 subjects. If I open, I have the selection as a selection summary with the operators and also those chips that I can choose even to exclude one of them right from the top. And of course, the clear all. Let's go ahead and continue and see more about the brief results. Also things that I want to hint while we are scrolling, the search bar is at the top with the filters always available for me to refine my selection. Now when I'm scanning my search results, I can see, let's see what are the new things that we are saying. First, you can see indication of the resource type at the top, and we also choose to have other indication of the article being visible over there. Going over there, you can see that we choose to group the action by share, citation, and export, as you can see here, and also the option to save to my favorites visible here. Here you can see an example for a book that are physically available by the library. I'd like to go into the full display of that record. You can see, I just want things to hint, what we try to gain is also to make very clear call to action for the availability line. So it's clear what is now should be focused. It's clear what now, it's inviting the user to scan. Nothing is blocking the eye while you're scanning the results, and you can immediately go into the availability when you are finding interesting. Let's go into the full display and see what is changing over there. So this is how the full display looks like. As I mentioned, search always at the top. And the brief record display is very similar to the one that we have in the search results. Now, for user to submit request, so far the request section, the request were part of the get it section, part of the location. Now this is how the get it, the locations look like, and we found that it will be much more easier for user to have these request sections available for them, and this is really a dedicated request area, very easy for the user to find them. And then again, called for action to submit a request. I will submit a request. We also create a very simplified request form. This is one of them example. You can see here the purchase request, only available things that they can change, other as read only, supposed to be much more clear and simplified. Of course, you will have a configuration to decide whether to expand or collapse those sections of request or location. So that should be very clear here. I will emphasize here that we also have this navigation, so I can now navigate to the next full records. And now we are seeing a record that is an article. We can see that we have added the option in the brief records also to include summary. So you can see the abstract with more information. So far, this only was available for user in the details section. So now in the details section, now you can choose to have it here. You can see how the snippet is very clear. And you can see here an example for record that we have both available online and this. I would also like to share with you how the view online looks like with the full text and additional services, and I can find an example with more information. What else I want to share? I will try to share with you also, I wanted to share also how, what happens when we have multiple options in the available online. I wanted to share how this is being grouped. So let's see this example, and then I also want to share with you the further. So you can see when we found that there are more than one available online option, like Get PDF and other online options, we are grouping them here, so it will be more clear and we are not overwhelm the user with those option and confuse what to click on. So this is more things, of course, up to 50 results and the paginations down there below. Now, more things that I want to share before going back to the presentation. Is I wanted to share with you how the fair bears will look like. I will search for animals of the Bible, for instance. Okay, so I can see here that I have this book available. And there is also other version of that book. If I click on this, I can go into the full version list, as you can see here. And this is how the full version list look like. I'm seeing my selected records at the top, and all others appear here with the option to use the filters if I want from the top. Okay, so this is more about the live demo that's showing you the progress of the NDE UI. Now, we've also put in slides for you to use later and scan what are the notable updates and enhancements that are coming. And of course, there are more while we are evolving and having new pages on development and design. So these are the ones that we, at the moment, choose to note with you. Some of them are already highlights during the demo. Quickly go, as I mentioned, available option from the search results are more designed as a call to actions. Record actions are grouped and visible at the top. The change with the facet, the top position facet, the option to define quick filters, the summary of the facet selections. Dedicated request area in the full records. We will share with you also the option of the landing page. The workflows, the forms and the workflow that should be much more simplified. If I've shared with you how to submit a request, then you will see that after submitting a request, there is also a link to go to and view the request in the My Library card. So you are also educating the user. There is My Library by request sections after they are submitting. And within a minute, we'll share also prototypes from the collection discovery. We demo their user area, and there will be much more improved on the area of the digital. There will be full records, dedicated full records for digital material where the viewer is taking is more highlighted than we have today. And more, of course. When we say more, it's about more configuration options and more pages and more enhancements that are, some of them are coming from your idea. So for the top facet, we already demo and highlight. You can use it, you can see it after that in more deep understanding. We already highlight the record brief display, the indication at the top, the group of the records, and the summary that is now being included, and also the multiple, the group of multiple online selection. The dedicated request area and simplified forms, the way that the landing page structure can look like with a fully option for you to customize it for your needs, and option to configure very easily the showcase, as you can see here in the prototype. More on the area of the advanced search. The advanced search will be presented once selected as a form, as you can see here, a dedicated advanced search forms. User can edit their advanced query with all of the option, and while clicking on the search, we are going back into the search results. The search results are now visible, and you can see the summary line of the advanced search query at the top with an option to go ahead and edit it, and it will open again the form, or back to the simple search. So this is how the experience of the advanced search should look like. On the user area, we already have already shared. and demo. And this is the prototypes for the collection discovery. What you can see here, this should be the collection lobby where you're presenting all of the collections. You can see more information about the collection here, the option to search, the option to have this layout or list layout as your idea were submitted. If I drill down into one of the collection, you can see we will see both in the collection page, we can see both collections, which are in the hierarchy of this art collection, but also items here. We will include also the facet at the top, so you will be able to use facet in your collection discovery. You will be able to have the pagination. So far today we have the load more, so we'll include also the pagination, and we will improve the search experience to include search that is within the hierarchy. So it will search only for items that under these art collections. So this is the prototype and how we are thinking and envision the collection discovery. Okay, so far you got a brief overview of how the NDE UI is going to look like with the existing page. Of course, we will expose more and more prototypes during 2025. We have to say that we are building the NDE UI with the collaboration of the community. We have focus group through the UX, which is very collaborative and response. We also start working with the customization focus group, and I will highlight more about customization in a minute. And we have, with the NDE UI, we will have the analytics focus group, and we'll have also a section of a brief session of what is the analytics of the NDE, what is the mix panel. We'll have a demo as well. We are going to start working in December with a small group of early adopters. So this is one aspect, how the community is collaborating to design the NDE. We also targeting to meet the standards. As I mentioned, the NDE, we will attempt to be complied with this, the WCAG 2.2. We are attempt to do it accessibility by design, sending prototypes, and we are also about to conduct probably in February or March external audit. So by the general release, we'll also have you have a clear VPAT of the NDE UI and will update accordingly. Now customization. Since the NDE UI is more about is changing technology, it's not AngularJS, it's based on Angular 18. It requires a new customization framework. So that means you will need to revisit your customization. You need to also check what is available as configuration or share with us. If we see a lot of customers doing this as a customization, we will suggest the configuration. And anyhow, we are going to attempt identify the customization activity that you're doing and provide in Alma a screen for things that can be done, not necessarily require an Angular developer, like replacing images, replacing themes, and even working with adding add-ons from external third parties. So we are targeting to do that. So when you want to really replace a components redevelopment, then we will need an Angular developer skills for that. So this is like sharing with you what is all about. One more things about the third parties integration. We would like to engage. We already engage with Third Iron. We would like to contact SpringShare also, so they will be ready with their add-ons on top of the NDE, same as they are we're ready for the existing UI. And we also contact Zotero also to make sure all will be ready for the general release. Let's go and see what are the key milestones. So the general release, of course, is May 2025, and explain what is included. What we have in the milestones so far, we opened the NDE for early access for the members of the UX focus group. Now with the customization group starting in October, we opened the NDE for them also to attempt to play with the customization modules. During that time, like this webinar and additional more, we are going to conduct a series of webinars to share with you much more information, and you can ask even for ones. So you will have a lot of information in order to start testing with the general release. As we mentioned, we are going to start collaborate with early adopters with the December one. We have a milestone on March for the one that we will ask for early access that are not part of those members, group members. We can give an early access, but it will be on our trial NDE environment. And of course, May, it's the general release. With the general release in May, we will publish what is available so far with the NDE. We are going also, it means that with the My release, you can start having your view, duplicate your existing view, have it as an NDE view. Most of your configuration labels and most of the configuration of feature that you've activated will be duplicated into the NDE view. So you can start with a good point of seeing your main set, your library discovery, how it looks like in the NDE, where we are leveraging your customization, so your configuration. So you can now go ahead and read more option in configuration and revisit that, and you can also estimate what is the effort of your customization with the NDE starting with that. It also includes consortia. It also includes consortia. They can start testing the NDE with the My release. They will missing some features like get it from other institution or the ability to filter in the institution card from other institution, but this will be developed right after. We will publish in May, even earlier, what will be available after the general release, like or consortia related feature that will be developed in Q3 and in Q4 on 2025, additional pages that will be closed and a list. So you will be able to see what is available and plan your go live accordingly based on the information that we will publish. So this is about the rollout plan. Okay, I'd like to go and also share more information about the new user engagement analytics, and then leave time for questions. So what is the new user analytics and what is Mixpanel? Mixpanel is going to be our new analytics platforms. It's a platform that we are now integrating with, and it can provide you a real-time information. I will share what does it mean. You can have all of your aggregation of the event that you are so far used to, you will have in Mixpanel, but in additionally, you will be able to get much more insight. You can use user journey to understand more in the session how your user are behaving. You can and then learn much more. We have already published, since we have the early adopters program running now, and we will have by December 40 customers, around 40 customers using Mixpanel on top of Primo VE. So we already publish information and training presentation. But I want to go and do some kind of light demo on that. So let's go and see what is Mixpanel all about. So once you will have Mixpanel, you will get a project. I am now working on Weizmann Institution for this demo. We will provide you some OTB boards. As you can see, this is the welcome board. You can see a user signed in and all of metrics that we choose, but you can also have the option for you to create your own. I would like not to go over this welcome board, but I would like to share with you the powerful of Mixpanel with sharing with you what of the events. I click here on the events and I can see right immediately, this is what I'm telling dynamically. I can see that 1 minute ago, a user click on display full records, and I can go ahead and even 2 minutes ago, they perform a search. If I drill down, I can see more information from Mixpanel properties or properties that we choose in the Primo application to send you. And let's see what is being sent. If I in the display full records, I can see on which record ID. This is what I'm telling, it's dynamic. You can see which record ID, who, how the user, or the user group, and much more information on that. If I go into the search, thing that you always want is to know what are the search terms. So I can see the search term, and it's being kept. It's not something like as we delivered today, a bit limited, like your top searches limited to 500 searches. It's really dynamic. You can see the search term, in the blended, and much more information. So showing here the events is showing you the capability of a system that is being aggregated, and it's aggregated even by a session. I can see that all of those actions were done by the same user. Of course, it's anonymized user, but all of them were done in the same user. I will finish my demo sharing a bit more. I can even go ahead and learn some insights about connecting search event to online resource link. I would like to know how many of my searches, user searches really reach out into clicking on online resource link. So I've created this, report of showing me. So out of those people that go into the system and perform a search, 44% of them really eventually go into performing an online resource link. I can see that it took like 55 seconds to do that, and I can go ahead and click here and view much more information. I can view as flow. I can go ahead and understand what is the flow. So they conduct a search and they go into online resource, or I can even know what they didn't know. So the other that didn't go into online resource, what other things that they did. So this is a teaser for the insight or for the understanding of the engagement of the behavior of the user in your discovery. Now, as I mentioned, there is a documentation for that, and we also invite you to join and register a dedicated mix webinar that we will conduct with the training team with Yoel on Mixpanel use. So please join us in that session. As I mentioned, additional information that I want to share on the NDUI and the analytics. We also publish a new information on the NDE, on the rollout in this article. It includes also questions, and I think this is really time to go to your questions here. Let's go to your question.
Israel, would you like to read them?
Yeah, I'll read the question. There's many questions here, so I'll apologize ahead of time. We're not going to be getting to all, and we'll have to get back to people in email. But let's start with as many as we can. Okay. Will the NDE rollout be available on our existing Alma Primo environment, or is it going to be on a separate environment?
So it depends. For the one that will ask early access in March, it will be on a separate environment we hosted. From the general release, it will be available for you on your environment. As I mentioned, only the early adopters or the one that are member of one of the focus group are getting early access to their environments.
Okay, great, thank you. Question about Mixpanel. Is this replacing the current Oracle Analytics, or is it in addition?
So in the NDE, it's the only analytics. Yeah, it's about replacing if you have your existing Primo V, it's fire the events to OBI. In the NDUI, we will fire the events into the Mixpanel. So it's going to be replacing.
Great. Another question about access to Mixpanel. Is it going to be specific library stuff? Can we share reports?
Yes, you will be able to share reports even to users that are not registered and have access to Mixpanel. We will explain more closer to the release. There is role for admin, role for analyst, and role for consumer, and then you can even send it to the ones that neither of them, and send it in a mail, and it will be also visible. Yeah.
There are a few questions here about including StackMap as one of the third-party vendors for NDE.
It's a good idea to engage with them
list.
as well.
Yep. There's a question here about consortia and testing NDE. I'm connecting it to a few questions here. Someone asked about that they saw that consortia is not going to be in day one. What can they test? What can they can't test?
So they can test the main workflows as searching in their local institution. As I mentioned, the feature of the consortia that will be missing is the get it from other institution, the ability to filter by institution in the My Library card. The union view we need to check, but you will be able to get impression and revisit your site as an NDE site with more option of configuration. And then I don't know if I mentioned, after May release, the feature that we are going to release are going to be released on monthly basis. So if we are developing in the database searches in June, so database searches is right immediately on the considered to be available for you while you are start testing. So we'll get it in June release. Today we are releasing features on quarterly basis for the NDE in order to help you with the with the decision to go live. It will be faster and monthly. It will be updated in the release note on monthly basis.
Great. Thank you. Let's see. Are we still looking for early adopters for the NDE? I think this came up a couple of times.
Yeah, you can send us mails. We have a small group of people. You can send us mail, and we will get back to you.
Just to reiterate that, if there are sites that, again, obviously learning more and assuming that everything gets released in the time that they need to go live, are willing to go live or interested in going live within 2025, then let us know. As Nili said, there's still a few more spots on that list.
Right.
Let me just see where we are here. Okay, can you share more info on the showcases on the landing page? Can you have multiple landing pages? How is the showcase created on the landing page?
We will try to provide it as a configuration. So if today you have the showcase and you need to define the query, it's a vision we didn't really develop, so I don't have the full detail. We will try to help you embed it by provide some kind of configuration or template for that. If you're able to have several landing page, I think it's a landing page per view, but you will have landing page per language. So you need to customize it per language if you are a site with multiple language interface.
Okay, great. There's a question here which I think we answered. Can we integrate product like Browsine and LibKey? I think this was answered, that it will be by configuration. What about Rapido? How does that meet the NDE UI?
Yeah, it's a great question. Also, the Rapido team is working to provide their tiles and add-on on top of the NDE UI. So Rapido is also working to it's going to also support the NDE with our timeline or.
We currently use normalization and display normalization rules. Will those work the same? we need to
Yes.
redo anything?
No, the move to the NDE, as I mentioned, you will leverage your configuration, but also all of the data that you are normalizing or all the external data that you are loading is already available because the NDE is built on top of the Primo VE, or all of those normalizations will be available also for the NDE UI. So it's pure data normalizing, not necessarily related to the change of the UI technology.
Will permalinks and search URLs that go to the current URLs in the end be redirected to NDE?
Yes, and when you decide to go live with the NDE, all of your permalinks will redirect it to the NDE.
Okay, great. Let me see what other questions are here. We're doing great. There's a few questions here, Sima, about link data with CDI. I know you
Yeah,
mentioned something that we're planning.
Yeah.
Anything else you can say there?
Yeah, this is planned. I answered a few of those. It's part of our roadmap. We haven't finalized yet the roadmap because we need still some estimations about the CDI to include them in the link open data. It's quite challenging because of the identifiers that are needed, and we'll need another source of data, but we're looking into that.
And can you say another word about the ProQuest Research Assistant and Primo, what we imagine over there?
Yeah, we'll probably have two phases. At least in the first phase, we'll embed the ProQuest Research Assistant as is inside the records that we'll be getting indication that those are records coming from ProQuest. Later on, we are considering having more sophisticated mechanism of having it a real part of the product and not just embedded inside our product.
Okay, let's see what other questions are here. Permalinks we answered, normalization we answered. Is there a change in the Ferber behavior, or is it just how it is presented? Are you reading this?
Yeah, if there's a question, it's about the display. The Ferber behavior is more about like the combinations, or not sure.
Okay, let's see if I can fish any other questions here.
There were some questions about the sources, about enriching the research assistant with external resources as well. We were talking about including CDI, including local records, so we will be looking into it. There were questions about external resources, both from link open data and for a research assistant. Those are potential directions for both.
Okay, a question here about working on, going back to Neely, I think what you said about working on the existing view. How would the flow work of working on a view versus working on their production view? If you want to explain the word imagine, what you mentioned, I think duplicating the view.
Yeah, it's about you will be able to test the NDE on your production, duplicating the view. You will be able, while in the phase of testing, you will be able to live side by side where your live view in Primo VE and your view that you are checking is an NDE view. On your production, you will be able to do it. Of course, it's going to also be you can do it in the sandbox, but to save you the time of the duplication, you can do it also. You can live side by side until the go live, where we'll have your NDE view the only one, the default one to use. I see also a question about Mixpanel, option to filter library stuff. There are a lot of options to filters in the Mixpanel when you are building the reports. There are a lot of options over there as well.
Okay, one more question that I think a few people asked, not about the product, but about the recorded sessions. It's something that they will be sent out. We will also send this out to the list and put it publicly, I think, in the documentation center in the NDE section, so people can again revisit this and share this on. So yes, definitely we want to send this out, especially for those that couldn't attend or those that want to listen to certain parts again.
Yeah, we will also review these questions that we didn't answer. We'll enrich the pages that I mentioned. If you search in the Google, the Next Discovery Experience and the UI or Research Set, you will reach to a dedicated page. There is an FAQ for the NDUI. We will see more of your question will be enriched over. The page will be enriched with your questions over there, so you find more information. You can find more information as well.
Okay. If there aren't any more questions, I want to thank you, Israel, Seema, Nili. I want to thank you all for participating. This was the first session in the NDE webinars series. We will have a few more in the future, so we'll keep you updated. Please stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.